try to make it new. You can't fight it when it feels so true. You drive me crazy like no one else. The final moment before I lose myself. And it's no use working 9 to 5 if you want more than to stay alive. So come on over, we can make it through. Take my hand, I know just what to do. On the beat, keep dancing through the night. We stay up until the morning light, the morning light. Oh, so come on over, we can make it through. Take my hand, I know just what to do. On the beat, keep dancing through the night. We stay up until the morning light, the morning light. Oh, the morning light. Oh, I just wanna be your Superman. Come fly with me, just take my hand.
Person's situation is different, and everybody needs a different specific house. So yeah, I think that you just be patient.
Because sometimes the patience, I'm thinking about patience because I know about 2 or 3 people right now, Amanda, they've been looking about 6 months, if not longer.
It's a long time.
And when I tell you they are so frustrated, they're discouraged, they don't even want to look at another house. They're just so tired. They're just exhausted because they can't seem to understand why they cannot find the house. And why is it that every time they get ready to, it's just they put the offer in, it doesn't work, and they're just to the point now that they're just frustrated and they're just tired. They don't even want to talk to anybody else anymore. That's just where they are. I'm like, oh my goodness. So trying to encourage them, and it's hard.
Lawanda, they need to speak to Amanda.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I said. Exactly.
Yeah, 6 months is a long time.
That's a long time, man. That's too long. I'm like, you're still looking? I'm like, wait a minute. And they're so discouraged. They have everything ready. They've been going back and forth with the bank. So they're okay with that. They did verification. So they're ready for all that, but they're just so tired. They're like, I don't even want to look at another house.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that has to do with the offers that are, they're, I don't know what price range they're looking at, but all of that is like stuff that your realtor should help you determine. Like, if it is in an area where people are offering over, well, then they're going to have to tell you, look for a house that's 20 grand less than what you're willing to pay, because you're going to have to go over that much. Like, there's like little things that you have to consider that, because you shouldn't be looking for 6 months or a year unless you're a very difficult person. But I mean, I don't think that's, that's the case.
No.
These people want houses, they just need your help. And that's what as a realtor, you're that person for them.
Right.
Trust you to do those, to help them with those decisions.
Lawanda,
good.
I think that before we're finished here, I do think that you should get that information and just give them Amanda's right, and all
Definitely.
and have them call Amanda, and I'm sure that probably in less than 6 months that happy that you went that extra mile to get them that information that's required so that Amanda will help them. Go, Amanda.
Yes.
Get Amanda's, But
Yes.
listen, this is good. So if you are discouraged, because I know some people who, as a matter of fact, I have a coworker who said that when she was trying to get a property for her son, said, okay, I'm going to try and help you to get a property or what have you. And the realtor told her, don't even try because there's nothing out there. No, seriously,
Wow.
don't even bother. There's nothing out there. And I'm like, really?
Wow.
That's what they told. So she stopped looking. She said, okay, you know what? I'll just wait until the market cools off. And then, because it was a condo for him because the son is in his 20s or early 30s or somewhere in there. And so she was just trying to help him. And especially because now the rates are, they're really good. So she was like, okay, the rates are good. We can get something decent for him, for her son. And she said, a realtor told her there's nothing out there, just to wait.
Well, maybe it was, do you know what the price range was or the location? Maybe that had to do with it.
Okay, but that could be something
That could,
too.
but she shouldn't say it like that. She should say, you know, this is, you know, that price range is difficult. Let's wait a year and see if, you know, things go down a little bit. Condos is a little difficult too, because most of them don't do FHA. So you have to have 20% down. And even the condos are not, you know, they're not dirt cheap anymore either. So, you know, but there's still good opportunity out there. You know, you can still get them. So I wouldn't tell my client, no, we can't do this.
I've seen condos.
You know.
Condos are almost the same prices like you're purchasing a one family house. They're crazy. The prices are absolutely quick to me, but I wouldn't buy a condo because I don't like the HOA fees and all that. Yeah, let's talk about that. The HOA fees, the homeowners association fees. Why?
Well, because when you're buying a condo, you're doing that so you don't have to maintain the property. So it's easy for a lot of people. Like, I mean, I think, you know, I don't think it's a terrible idea because you don't have to take care of the lawn, you don't have to take care of the snow, you don't have to take care of the maintenance. If something breaks on the roof or something, that's on them, not you. So like that's why but you know, like you said, with the amount of HOA, yeah, it depends depends where you are and what they're offering. Do they have a pool? Do they have a gym? Or are they just charging you $400 for nothing for trimming the grass? Like, you know, do they have parking? All those type of things. So condos are not, and you can still find, you know, pretty decently priced condos, especially lower than a single family home right now, because they're, you know, those prices are rising. But that's the point of the HOAs is, you know, but if it's like an association that doesn't have anything, then yeah, it's like, what are you charging for? But yeah, that's, you know, it's maintenance basically. You don't have to take care of the property nearly as much as you do with a home.
Okay, so the homeowners association do now, because I've seen, I've heard where you have like, say for instance, the HOA fee is maybe you'll see it listed like when you know on Realtor.com or what have you, $26. Okay, $26. But I've heard where some people said, okay, you know, they'll increase it and it can go all the way up to whatever it is that they choose to. Do they have a cap on HOA?
I don't know if they have. That's like a homeowners association question. I don't know if they have a cap, but they do have to tell you, you know, if it's being risen, you know, in the next year or whatever. And like a lot of them too, you'll see assessments on there because if the association is doing assessment, which means they're making improvements with the condominium association, that will be on there. And those, they have to tell you how long it's going to be and how much money you're putting in towards it. So everything has to be told to you. It has to be open, but how much they can raise it, I don't know. I mean, you assume each one is different, but probably just like, you know, taxes and stuff, there's probably a limit as to how much they can raise it. And, you know, it probably is affected, like, are they going to add a whole pool again or a gym or something like that? Then that I'm sure controls how much they can raise it as well.
Oh, that's what that does. Okay, but I could cut my own grass.
Well, they don't let you, so it's not an option.
That would be good. But that's not gonna work. You can't get out there with your own lawnmower. No.
Become a board member and try to.
Right.
I'm saving you some time. You don't have to cut your own grass real quick for you. But I could grass and I could move my own snow.
And it's never a lot of grass or snow because it's, you know, if it's a condo, it's not a lot of area there.
Yeah, thank you. So if you'll probably have a little patch, you know, a little patch of grass. How much cutting is that? You know, that will probably take us, you know, with one up, one down, you know, why charge?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, Dawn, as you get older, you may appreciate having that. Because as you get older, you do not want, even if it's a little patch, you do not want to go outside mowing. You do not want to go outside cleaning up the snow. They may work out for, you know, for older people.
I don't even want to do that now. So.
Right. See?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But you don't do it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the HOA has its ups and downs, you know, like if you want a bigger house and whatever, it depends on your lifestyle too. Like if you're not, maybe you work like 12 hours a day and you don't have time to maintain a property. So the HOA is better for you. Maybe you want to be part of that smaller community. So, you know, all your neighbors and you can just walk up and down the street, or maybe you want more space. So you're going to go out, you know, like you were just saying before, out further, you know, where the houses are more further apart and you have more space. So it really just again, like I said before too, everybody has specific needs that they want. And like, as your realtor, that's my job to figure out what your specific needs are and help you find a home that meets those needs. Maybe you don't want, you know, your neighbor right next to you or living in a condominium association, but maybe you do. Maybe it makes you feel safe. Maybe, who knows? People have all types of reasons for everything. So it really is, it's specific to each individual.
Amanda, I have this really nice question for you.
Mhm.
Okay, so I know that you've probably seen a lot of houses, all types, and you've dealt with, you know, some beautiful people.
Mhm.
But what's the craziest thing you've seen, like when you go, you know, shopping for a house with someone? Okay, I'm gonna give an example. And I was saying that before we got started, that we went in when I was, you know, house shopping, you know, many moons ago. It was where we went into this house and they were playing like this scary movie, like like this scary, and it was dark in there. It was dark, and the music was coming from upstairs. And the realtor and I will look at each other and we're like, ooh, it's time to get out of here because it sounded so spooky.
Yeah.
I'm serious. It sounded so spooky, almost like you're in the Twilight Zone or something. You know, what's the craziest that you've seen? Because I know that there's some properties out there. People live in very unique situations.
Mhm.
I will be so nice to say it that way.
Mhm. I mean, you see, you know, people have different types of lifestyles all the time. You know, you'll see, I don't know, things set up differently. Some people are very spiritual and it looks like that when you walk in. It's dark and it's like, you know, they have curtains over. The one house I went to see recently had curtains over the what do you call it, the hutch, and I don't know why I didn't open the curtains because I didn't want to see what was behind there, little things like that. But I do have a good listing story. When I had first started real estate a couple of years back, I had a partner and we had a listing in Little Falls, and it was, you know, a nice house. They renovated. It was like 5-bedroom, whatever, and we had it listed like a good price and whatnot, but it was haunted. And we ended up backing out of it and not selling it because it was just like, we would close the door at night, and then the one day we came back and there was like a purple, it was like a cleaning product sprayed all over the basement. And I thought, like, you know, there's no way it's haunted. But then the one night we finished up with the owner, we had talked to him inside the house, we came out, we were in the driveway and the basement light went on. And I was like, I'm never going back here again. And then it was also I don't know if it was that night or another night that we were tying up things with the owner there. And that there's like a padlock he had on the back door and it just started banging. Like, it was so scary. I'm not making this up either. It was very scary and we couldn't sell the house. Like, there was always something that came up. So like eventually we gave up the listing, and the guy redid it months later, or maybe it was a year later. But it was haunted. Yeah. And then that gets that trick. Like, do you tell people? I mean, you're supposed to tell them if you know, but then what if it's not really haunted and we're just losing our minds, you know? I don't know, but but that was scary. And I never went back there. I told my listing partner, I was like, you know what, you just finish this one because I'm not going back there. Yeah. Oh, and that one in the garage, they had another giant, it was a giant hutch thing. And on the back of it had like one of those like devil worshiping star things. And I was like, oh no. And I ran into that because I was doing a showing with some clients, some buyers. I was the listing agent, but I was doing the showing with some buyers. And I brought them in there and I was like, oh my God. Like, I had never seen it before. So we were all scared. Yeah. Yeah. It was pretty crazy.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was creepy. Yeah, we didn't sell it. I never went back. So
I guess not. Okay.
no.
I don't think you were rushing to go back there.
No. I was like, you know what? I don't need it. Forget it.
Exactly.
That is crazy. I mean,
That is.
It was pretty crazy. Yeah.
yeah, you see.
Ooh.
And the owner, he wasn't like the actual owner. He's someone who bought it and flipped it and he was selling it again. He told us stories that like when he was in there, some of the doors would shut and like all kinds of crazy stuff. I didn't experience that, but I experienced the other stuff. So it was pretty creepy.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Just stay right where you are.
Yes.
Stay there, and I'll stay.
I'm gonna bring my sage now every time I go to list a house. It's just
Like, oh my goodness. Like, oh my God.
that was the only time something like that happened.
Right.
But now I'm always a little scared. I'm like, you know.
Okay, you're on your P's and Q's, so to speak. You're like, okay, let me
feel this first, you know.
Right. Like, oh, wait a minute. Did I just see that?
Yeah.
Or maybe I didn't see that. Okay.
Finish.
It's true. I'm sure it happens. I'm more than
Yeah,
positive.
I mean,
I'm
you know.
sure. You know, you hear people tell it, but I really believe it happens. I really
Yeah,
do.
I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
believe it happened until that, and I was like, oh my god.
It's like, I don't think we're coming back to see this
Yeah.
house. Okay. Exactly.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. That is so, I like that. Now,
Wow.
question. I have a question. What is, I don't know if I asked this question before, or I thought I asked what is a good time to purchase, you answer that. But in this market, it's a good down payment, like say 20, because I know a lot of properties that's been listed, like when I look on realtor.com and stuff, it has where they give you the 20% down. You know what I mean? They give you that 20% down. I know that, like you had said earlier, when the sellers are looking at, they look at the person who has maybe like a 5% compared to that 20% or what have you. And that looks better, of course, all around, right? Now, have you ever gotten to the place where someone is looking for like an investment property? And how does that work in reference to that down payment compared to like a first-time home buyer or someone who's purchasing maybe a house for the second time or what have you? How does that compare to that?
Okay, so again, that's more of lender knowledge, but from experience, when you're purchasing an investment home, you have to put more down. So I think it's for a second home, it's about 10%, an investment might be 20. It depends on whatever the rent roll is and whatever your own loan situation is, because I recently had a client, he had to put 25% down on a 2-family. That was, that's the lender chooses that, but it's sometimes it's more. But you can do, the 3.5% down. But again, in this market, no one's going to take that. But technically, if you're going to live in it and you're going to rent half of it out, you can do the 3.5% down. But if you also going to end up paying PMI insurance. So when you pay on a loan and you're not at, if you're paying 20%, I'm sorry, if you're paying 19% or less, you're going to pay an extra insurance to the lender, and it's just money that they keep. So you want to try to get to that 20%. Yeah, it's something that I guess because they're basically insuring less than 20%. So if they say we were to foreclose, they're not going to get enough for the house. So you want to get to that 20% mark if you don't want to pay that extra insurance. But as an investment, they try to get you there already because it's an investment property. So with investments, you do have to pay a little bit more down. But again, that's something like specifically your lender has to go over with you and tell you how much you're going to have to put down.
Okay, that's a good one. I also this. I know I'm talking a lot. I know, but I have this where one of the things we were talking about of how if you're under contract and everything like that, what are the things that will disqualify you, or you can get out of it? Because once you're on the contract, you're basically you're in it, and of course you're looking towards closing and all that good stuff, right? But then what happens when you get an inspection, and that's the only time you can turn around and you can back out of that that contract because there's something wrong with that inspection. Now, what would you say to somebody who the inspection comes back and it's something that the seller would have to fix, but the seller did not do a good job? Do you want to ask them if they want to put monies at closing, if they want to do, like, say, for instance, that the seller will put like a seller's concession? Okay, I did not get this fixed, but I could give you maybe some of the funds to it. Do you have anything like that? Well, they say, I'll give you some of the funds towards that, or I'll give you the funds towards closing so that you can take care of that? Or does it have to be a complete, straight deal where you have to fix that before we go into closing?
No, so part of the negotiation after you get the inspection is whether you're going to ask them to repair it. You give them both options. You say either you can repair these things for me, or you can give me, and you have to give them a number, this amount of money so I can repair it myself. And yeah, it's not like a check is handed to you to make these repairs. It goes towards your closing costs. So you'll have to bring less money to the closing table. So in the end, yes, you are getting money back. But yeah, that's, I just lost trains of thought. What was I talking about?
Come back.
I gotta go back. Yeah, so with the inspection, you can ask for a credit or you can ask them to repair it. And you can have, you know, I've had clients who go and have to hire different inspections. Like say the inspection came back with, because the general home inspector does a general home inspection. But if you want like something deeper, you have to hire an electrician. You have to hire, you know, an HVAC guy.
Right.
You have to hire someone for these specific things. So, you know, I have clients who do that, or like, or someone who checked the chimney, like, you know, these little things. Some who do that, and then you can negotiate from there as well, because you have the actual quote from that specific person. If it's something major, but like we said before, if it's like a broken window or like, you know, the bedroom door is not there or something like that, like no one's going to really, you know, make a big deal about those.
Right.
But if it's something major, like, you know, you didn't know that the roof was leaking, you want that, you more than likely you're going to want that repaired so that you know it's ready. Or if you do a tank sweep, which is something a lot of people do now just to make sure there's no tanks, that seller should remove that tank. And that could be costly too. It's like $1,200. But you want to do the tank sweep because you want to make sure that the soil is not contaminated either. So that's another big thing with inspections, is to get a separate tank sweep. And I think those are like $250 for the inspection. These are just estimates, of course. But to take it out is, you know, a little bit more expensive. So that's something you want the seller to do, because that too, back to the FHA loans, that will be something that they won't approve.
Exactly. That would explain. It's so funny because it would explain some things, because when we first looked at one of the houses that we had first looked at, the oil tank was in the ground. And we ran into so many obstacles. They didn't want, they were like, that tank has to come out the ground. They were not going to give us the mortgage. They were determined that tank had to come out that ground. They didn't care. And when even insurance coverage, same thing. They wanted the tank out of the ground. They did not. So, long story short, the seller, you know, he did not want to pay for it to be taken out the ground. So you know what? We took it off the table. We took the offer off the table. We said, no, we're not going to do it, because the realtor advised us I would not do it. If he is not going to take that off, and you know, and I'm glad that that's what she, you know, had explained to us, that no, I would never let you go into something like this, especially you're going in with problems. They're not even going to give you the mortgage, nor to less the insurance for it. So I know we did run into that problem, definitely, because the oil tank was in the ground and he did not want to pay to have it taken out at all. Nope.
Yep. And he has to, because all the other lenders are going to have the same issue with that. So it's like, and then unless you want to take it out yourself, but it's like, wait, why won't he take it out then? Is there a bigger issue? Is there soil contaminated? So then it's like, all right, I'm just going to walk away from this. And you have the right at that point, because that's
what we
did.
A
big issue.
Yeah, we walked away. Yeah, exactly.
This is good. I love it.
This is good.
This is good. This was so much information, so informative. Amanda, I'm telling you, a wealth of knowledge.
This is good.
Appreciate you so much. Oh my gosh.
Yes, thank you.
I know that you guys out there, I know you had your pen, I know you had your papers. I know that you were writing these things down, because I was even taking notes myself. And I know this was a great session. I knew that you know, Amanda, I mean, I'm just loving this. This is so good. I'm telling you, this is good stuff. You know, thank you so much, Amanda, for this, you know, coming on and sharing with us and giving us all of this wisdom, giving us all of this knowledge, giving us all of this information. Listen, you have got to get in touch with Amanda. Amanda, please tell our viewers how they can get in touch with you, so that they can come on and Lawanda, get your neighbor, whoever those persons are, to get in touch with Amanda, so that she is a special lady. She is good. She's caring, and she'll make sure that you get into that property that you so desire. So Amanda, in our exit, please tell the people how they can get in touch with you. Give them your information so that we can get them into that property. It's on you.
Sure. So my direct cell phone number is 201-456-1842. And you can text me or call me anytime, or if it's easier, you can email me, and that's just my name, which is Amanda at, and then my last name, which is T as in Tom, O-L, V as in Victor, E, and closes.com. So it's Amanda@tolvecloses.com. And the phone number again is 201-456-1842.
This is good.
Got it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it.
Good.
Amanda Tolve, and I'm going to repeat this again. She said it twice, but I'm going to say it again because sometimes you may need to get it a third time. Her phone number is 201-456-1842. And I'm going to repeat that. It's 201-456-1842, and her email address is Amanda, that's AMANDA at, you know, the at sign, Tolve, that's TOLVE, closes.com. You have all of the information. Please, please, please reach out to Amanda. She will get you into that home that you desire. She will. We know that she will. That's why she's on here, and that's why she spoke so eloquently to you. She gave you all that information. Trust me, you're going to love it, and you're going to tell your friends, you're going to tell your neighbors, you're going to tell everybody what Amanda has done for you. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Dree. Thank you so much, LaWanda. And again, thank you so much, Amanda, for your wealth of knowledge. We appreciate you. And we want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And until next time, for Just Us Girls, we say bye.
Bye.
If you want more than to stay